What would you do if you were locked in a car at night and felt something approaching? Have you ever seen something peeking at you from a mirror? Can snakes be an ominous and foreboding sign of something sinister? Today, we test the believability of the cursed house of snakes.
Welcome to Believing the Bizarre,
Where we dive into the unknown and the unusual.
and tell you whether or not we find it believable.
That's right. Happy Tuesday. We are back with another episode. Snakes.
Peekaboo.
Snakes.
Snakes on a motherfucking plane.
Snakes in this episode.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Well, I'd imagine so, yeah. What kind of snakes? I guess it varies, huh?
Black snakes, I think. Yeah.
Is that a kind? Black mambas.
Black Mamba. That's also,
Kobe.
shout out, yeah, Kobe Bryant. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening, hanging out with us today. I hope you're enjoying your day, and I hope you enjoy this episode as much, if not more, than your day. But before we get to this episode, I do want to thank our newest patrons, who include Jason, Ella, and No None. And I don't know if they meant No One, but they put No None.
No nuns
No
here.
None patron. No, like None.
Oh, no none. Okay.
Yeah, no none. But thank you so much for joining our Patreon and supporting the podcast. It means a lot to us. It means almost as much as if my Browns draft the awesome two-way player that is known as Travis Hunter. Now, by the time this drops, we will already know
Yeah.
the answer to that
But we'll still appreciate you.
conundrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll appreciate you no matter what. It depends if I'll appreciate Andrew Barry.
It's the draft night.
I'm not
everybody.
saying I want to see it Hunter and then come back in for Shador just for the sake of entertainment, but
Yeah. Tonight's the draft,
We'll
so
see.
Tyler found out. He was like, no.
I found it out. I knew it. It's been marked. Also, it is hot in here. So if you're watching on YouTube and we
Yeah.
start sweating, it's not that we're just like, this episode is so intense, which it is.
It probably will be pretty good.
Well, not just the fact that it's good or not, but just like, you know,
Intense?
like, were you like watching
You're
a
gonna be on the
scary
edge of your
movie?
seat.
Our pores just start crying. Yeah, we went without heat for a while and we were like, that's okay, we can deal. And now we're out without air,
Yeah.
but we do have a space heater in here.
I might pop the shirt off sometime. We'll see what happens.
So I have two lovely stories for you today from Davy and Grace.
Davy Jones?
Nope.
It's
It's actually, Davian, but he goes
Oh.
by Davy. You know, what would be crazy if I just asked you which order you want me to do them in? I'm not going to do that. I already have them listed.
I feel like you set me up. You're like, okay, Davy, and then the other one. What's the other one?
Grace.
Grace, or Davy then Grace. So Grace then Davy.
No. All right. So Davy's story takes place in southeastern Kentucky
I don't know. I guess say Asia. I thought you were
in
going to say Asia.
2009.
Oh, that's a special year for me. I can graduate that year.
In 2009.
Uh-huh.
I graduated in 2010. Davy was just 12. He's just a little lad. And he really just put southeastern Kentucky. So this is like, not only does he not want you to know where he's at, he doesn't even want us,
He doesn't
to,
want
know.
us to know.
He's in Sophia, Kentucky, essentially.
But Southeastern.
So this is a single encounter, a single night where Davy experienced two different things same night. And again, he's like 11 or 12 years old at this point.
This is in the hills, in the Appalachian hills.
Yeah, yes. If it's
Absolutely.
southeastern,
Uh-huh.
then yes, it is. So it's a summer evening in 2009, around 5 or 6. Davy was with his mom and her boyfriend, and they were going to check out a car that they were purchasing. And Davy really did not want to go. He has no interest in this car. He's 12. Why does he care?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want to stay home with Granny and be bored, so he figured he might as well go on this car-looking adventure.
Granny's just watching golf,
Oh, God.
drinking sweet tea, smoking cigarettes. I'd go car shopping.
As much as I like golf, I can't watch golf. Shout out Rory McIlroy. I'm proud of you.
I was thinking about my grandfather the other day. He consumed golf.
See, I wanted to stick with one player. They bounce, and it makes sense why they bounce.
Yeah.
It's like red zone for golf. I get it.
Yeah.
I would just want to watch one guy. Also, I assume they used Auto Trader, not a sponsor, because this was a 2-hour drive out of town. And at this point, I don't think you can hardball much when you're looking at this car. You know what I mean? Like, you drive 2 hours, especially if they know you drove 2 hours.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I'm just looking. It's like, yeah, sure, buddy.
You
Yeah.
bought the car
You're,
already.
you're leaving with the car. You're like, actually, I forgot. Did I say 10,000? It's actually 12. It's crazy. So they're on their way to check out this car and Davy's in the back seat chilling. He's got his MP3 player, his ear pods in, listening to whatever songs came out in 2009.
Monsters Among Us.
Homesick. Do you remember?
That was out. When you were 12?
That I Got a Feeling song. Tonight's going to be a good. I think that came out in 2009. It's probably just that for 2 hours. So while he's listening to music, he's looking out the window, and something catches his eye.
Ooh.
Now, I know you're thinking, Tyler, couldn't this have been maybe in a different encounter collection that I did previously?
Yeah?
Yes, it could have been.
Okay.
So he sees this little speck, this little white object that just seems to be sitting in the sky. And it's not an airplane. It's seemingly motionless, which could be just perspective. I don't know if you've ever seen a video where it looks like a plane's not moving, but it's just because of the way it's moving, like the angle. It looks like it's just sitting there.
Sounds like fucking witchcraft to me.
No, it's like if it's coming at you and it's like directly at you, not like it's about to crash into me at me, but it's like there's perspectives. It was when we did the glitch in the Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
And we learned that there's times where planes can look like they're frozen.
Yes, yeah.
But they're moving.
Sounds like a witch.
You did that episode.
I did do that.
Shout out, Let's Get Haunted. They were on that as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But something else caught him off guard about this experience. It wasn't just what he was seeing. It was this feeling that he was getting as well. It was just this eeriness, this feeling that something was off, just discomfort. Didn't like it. Almost like he was seeing something that he wasn't supposed to see. And so he took an earbud out, assume it's wired, and he told his mom about what he was seeing. And she shrugged it off. It wasn't as bad of an excuse as the boys in blue, but she said it's probably just a star. Now, he kind of had an overreaction to this where it's like, it's daytime, don't be stupid. I've seen you can see a star sometimes at daytime.
Sometimes.
Especially since it's like evening.
Especially the twilight coming down.
Yeah. So this didn't satisfy Davey. So he's like, all right, I'm going to put my earbud back in, but I'm going to focus on this thing. Like
3 Days Grace. Feel like a monster.
Is that 2000?
Oh, that's Skillet.
That is Skillet.
No, an animal I've become, just staring it down.
Was that 2009?
I don't know. It was around that time. You know what though? Yes, I think it was out by that point. Are you Googling it?
Yeah. 2009.
Was it?
Yo. We figured it out. He was listening to Monster by Skillet.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Feel like a monster. So he's trying to solve like a perspective of distance with this white speck.
Yeah, he's like that, like E equals MC squared.
Like his mom said it was a star, and so that means it's in space.
Yeah.
So he's like trying to find distance qualifiers. So like it dips behind trees when they're on the highway, and then he looks, it'll be behind a tree, but he saw it was in front of a cloud.
Okay.
So if it's in front of a cloud, it cannot be a star.
That doesn't make sense.
So he again tried to tell his mom, but his mom got irritated and was kind of just like, stop, like just knock it off. Let this thing go. My thoughts are she was probably feeling depressed because they were probably going to get a Kia or a Hyundai.
Yeah, and they're only an hour away.
They're only an hour away. It's there's something weird outside, and she knows has at least $5,000 worth of mechanical bills in front of her.
Yeah,
with this Kia and or Hyundai.
God damn it, Dave! Shut up about the fucking star.
He kept focusing on this object. He's like, it's all me now.
Yes, yeah.
And at one point he blinked, and then right before his eyes, this white speck turned into 5.
Whoa.
5 objects. And then that shifted this eerie feeling from like almost panic. And in his mind, and I don't think he would say that this is the truth. This is more so, I think, just how he felt. It was like exposed. Like in his mind, kind of like we were talking about the alien encounter where the girl walking in Florida, her driveway, and she thought that he was looking at her. He felt exposed, like there's a speck that thought no one could see it. And he saw it, and it was like reinforcements. Like, we know that you know now, which is creepy. And, it's just...
It's very scary.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's almost like Big Brother's like staring at you.
Yeah, exactly. And before he could try to even consider convincing his mom that something was going on, he blinked and all 5 completely vanished. Just 100% gone. Sky was clear.
Nope.
So he felt his heart drop to his stomach, and he did his best to contain it. Eventually, they got to the house where his mom and boyfriend were going to check out this car.
Okay.
And it's dark out, and they just let him chill in the car. They're like, we're going to go look at this car.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave you in here.
I hope you don't have a panic attack. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, here's 2 pills and your cell phone in case you need to call 911.
And a Diet Coke.
So it's dark out, and they're where the car is at this house is outside in the yard opposite where he's at. So like the driveway, and then way on the other side of the front or the side yard is where they're looking at the car.
Okay.
I don't know.
Feels like they're being funneled to their death.
Yeah. So it's pitch black and there's like this eerie silence. And he says that the only light are like these solar lights that like the ones that like are parallel or on the sides of like a walkway.
Yeah.
Like those little ones on the ground.
I love those.
That's it.
There's one by my house. It's like all lit up with those. It's very pretty.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing. I'm talking about like the dim ones that are just like circles on the ground.
The ones that aren't very strong.
Yeah, like not strong circles that like every few feet they just go along the walkway so you can kind of see where you're going.
Yeah,
not like a spotlight or anything. My neighbor has like a big blue spotlight. I don't know why it's blue, but it's like blue. So he's feeling a little isolated. It's dark, eerie. But he's like, all right, I'm gonna chill, put my music back on. But then again, something catches his eye. He looks over and he sees this bush, and this bush is moving, but it's not like a small, fluffy bush where it could be like a squirrel or a chipmunk or a skunk or anything. It was like big, tall, like fern. It was long, tall, big leaves, and it like a small animal would not be able to make it move. And the feeling that he was getting from it was that something was like pushing it apart to get through it. Yeah. Okay. The panic attack feelings are coming back. Like something is there. He's got this frozen feeling. He's like creeping in. Like, should he run? He probably shouldn't leave the car. Right. Could he? If he ran to his mom, would she be mad? And could even find them? So he's like going through all these scenarios in his head. Like, what should I do? But he's just frozen. He's not going to do anything. But while he's thinking of this and like slumping in his seat, he hears knocking. There's knocking on the car. No. Like knock, not on the window, on the car. Oh no. And what would be like the worst next thing that could happen? You could hear?
The handle being pulled.
Yes. Oh. He starts hearing the handle. Thank goodness his mom locked the car, which he was locked in a car, which is kind of...
Well, child locks.
I guess, yeah. This thing doesn't... Whatever this is doesn't know about child lock. But it's like twisting the handle. It's trying to get in. Now, it makes it sound like a doorknob, but you know what I mean? It's like...
No, he's like trying to get it.
Yeah. And a few moments later, he starts hearing the sound of his mom and her boyfriend getting closer, which is the opposite side of the car. So it's like this side, the right side is where this bush and the creature is. And then the left side is where his mom and her boyfriend are coming. And they get closer and closer and closer. And as he looks up, he kind of like, I think maybe felt confident a little bit since he knew they were coming. He didn't see anything, but he did see the bush shaking again.
Oh boy.
And then the mom and the boyfriend get inside. Yeah. Look at him and think he's sick. Like, are you okay? Because he was just pale.
Wow.
And he kind of played it off like he's feeling a little car sick and that he'd be okay. But that's it.
He hears like the distance, like he said $12,000 on the way up, 15,000. That's terrifying.
I don't know whether they got the car. I would assume so. Not like that night. I think they just went and they just like handshake. Like, yep, it's a car.
Not for 2 hours away. I'm driving home in that thing tonight.
What? I did drive. Well, not me. Me and my dad drove, I think, over an hour to get my Jeep Wrangler. It was in Cuyahoga Falls, actually, when I was in North Kingsville.
That's funny. Do you think it was an alien?
I think they're separate.
You think this is a separate event?
Mm-hmm.
Really? In my mind, I connected these two events.
Well, I just told you one story, and humans naturally do that. So I think...
Well, he didn't see what it was trying to get into the door.
No.
What do you think it was?
I think he was slouched beneath the window.
Maybe.
I don't think he couldn't see it. I think he was slouched so low he couldn't see out the window.
I have my thoughts to why I think they're connected. We'll talk about we'll table them. We'll come back to them.
Okay. All right, our next story comes to us from Grace, and this takes place everywhere: Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arizona. So Grace has experienced the paranormal her entire life. She comes from a family that openly discusses their ghostly encounters.
As one should.
As I agree entirely. Though she rarely shared the experiences with anyone outside her closest circle, which I don't know if that means her family. I don't know if that means like now she's coming clean or if it's just like she talked to her family about it and maybe like the closest of friends. But this wasn't, she didn't just walk around like, you know, in math class and it's first day icebreakers, like, tell us something unique about you. It's like, I see ghosts.
I see dead people. Haley Johnson's got nothing on me.
And then she was like, I was going to say I can juggle, but now it doesn't feel as cool.
My favorite movie is Top Gun.
So she feels that some of her stories could be seen as a little too unbelievable, and we will be the judge of that, Grace. We will let you know.
I'll see what happens.
So she provided us with 4 stories from her life.
Okay. Are there more? Or is this just like...
I'm sure there's more. I think she curated 4, is my guess.
Okay.
So the first one is from a house in Missouri. Grace's great-grandmother lived in an old house with a fairly dark history. Apparently, the previous owners met a nasty end as a father murdered his family before taking his own life. He went Chris Benoit.
It's not funny.
Yeah, you shouldn't laugh
The
at
way
that.
you said was funny.
So apparently when and this is kind of crazy to me, and don't come at me for saying it's crazy. Truly think about what I'm about to say, and it's even if it's a really good thing, it is crazy. Apparently when Grace's family moved in, they let the surviving member of that family, a little boy, live with them.
Whoa.
No, it's like the most altruistic thing. I think Grace's family is Gandhi and Batman. That's amazing.
That is wild.
I know. It's just kind of like, it's so sad what happened to your family.
Yeah.
Can you leave like now? But you know what I mean? But they're
like, no, you could stay.
Yeah.
It's like when you, okay, I hope people will get mad at me about this. It's like when you move into a house and there's a stray cat and you just pick up feeding it.
You're like, well, yeah.
Might as well, I guess. Wow.
The paranormal activity in this house was pretty well documented within the family. Grace's great-grandmother once sat in the yellow room, and each room they gave a name based on the color.
I think
it's
that's
a brown
a 90s
room
thing.
It's a yellow room.
I think you just name the rooms off to the colors, and there's a 90s thing.
Depending on what the room is, especially if it's a bedroom, maybe.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, I would just say like the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. I wouldn't be like, the green room. It's like, what? It's like the kitchen?
The place with the fire stove.
The foodie room. The couchy room. So anyway, Grace's great-grandmother sat in the yellow room when a black snake appeared in the corner, and she immediately, in great-grandma fashion, sensed evil. Not just from the snake, in general.
Yeah.
And her great-grandma screamed at it to leave her family alone, and the snake slipped under the door and vanished in the hallway. Now, could that have just been a snake? Are they known to be elusive? I would say potentially. But then again, they're all a little sensitive to the paranormal.
Yeah.
And I can't say what they felt.
Yeah.
You know, I've been scared from something, with even like an ant or a spider, you know? You get scared, but it's not like sensing evil. Maybe you do with spiders. But
I do sense evil from spiders. Yeah.
like even if you get a jump scare out of a bug, I don't sense evil. It's like I normally feel really bad if I get rid of a bug.
Bugs are evil? Wasps are evil. That grandma, she stood up. She actually spoke parcel tongue. No one said that though.
Snake's like, oh shit! All right.
I'm out.
My bad. Might be. Anyway, it reminds me a little bit of Sinister, the movie, one of my favorite movies, with the snake and the scorpion.
The scorpion threw me off so bad. You remember how bad that threw me off?
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't make sense. It's not native to this spot. Wait a minute.
So Grace's great aunt had her own recurring visitor, a woman in white. Since she was 6 years old, she would see this apparition dressed in what looked like a wedding dress whenever she slept on the living room couch. And this woman would swiftly move down the hall, and her face was never visible.
Ooh, that's no good.
Grace believed that this was the murdered wife, and the wedding dress symbolizing the marriage destroyed by an affair. Apparently, the father had an affair, and then was like, well, I guess I gotta kill everyone. Gotta take them out.
There's better ways to end that, I'll tell you what.
And after the snake incident, Grace's grandmother had the house blessed by a priest, which seemed to halt the paranormal supernatural activity for a while. Like, 3 decades. I'd say that's pretty significant.
Good while.
But then, during a Thanksgiving visit, everything seemed to change. Grace had brought her dog with her, planning to take a nap in the brown room, which is also the room where the suicide took place.
Oh, yikes.
Before she could even open the door, her normally calm dog began barking and growling fiercely at the room. And we all know that everyone's dog is super, super calm, so it's always super, super strange when they start barking.
Yeah, not my dogs.
No one, you're the only person who admits to having a rambunctious dog. Everyone else is like, it's an angel until a shadow figure or demon is in the room.
No, my dog's anything. Just the wind, they'll go, ah! I love him though.
So inside, Grace found the rocking chair in the brown room where she was going to go chill, and her dog starts barking. The rocking chair was moving intensely back and forth as if someone had just vacated it.
Real bad red flag.
So she looked around to see if anything else was shaking, if anything could have caused it, if it was an earthquake, what could have made this chair move, but there was nothing. So she shook her head and she noped out of there and went to the yellow room.
That's the move.
So she went to lay down and was looking out the window in the yellow room when she witnessed something else unexpected. She saw a translucent man wearing black clothes with his hands crossed in front of him. He had a beard and seemed to be staring longingly at the house. Now, Grace's grandfather had recently died, and she felt that this might have been him, but she wasn't certain. I don't know if she didn't get to meet him or it just wasn't as clear. Like she said, translucent. So she sees a man with a beard, and also like the age in which he passed might not have been how he maybe this is like grandpa 40 years ago. Because when I'm reading this, I was like, you might know if you looked,
Well, no, I get the arguments. Maybe not. It could be, like you said, there are many factors.
Age difference. Yeah. So, and it wasn't like, I don't think it was if he recently passed, it's not like it was a grandfather you never met. But either way, she sees this specter and she says whatever was in the brown room felt really angry, but this apparition just seemed sad. Like she felt sadness coming from it. And another detail about this house was that it contained an uncomfortable number of mirrors. And I know how you feel about mirrors, Charlie. That's not an appearance comment. That's not. I know I'm not being a jerk.
No,
Charlie doesn't like mirrors because of
They are creepy, and also they set up portals and our access gates, is especially facing each other, for spirits to enter the home.
Yeah, I wasn't just being a jerk.
Like doling mirrors, I'll go.
So Grace avoids looking in mirrors because too often she would glimpse shadow figures.
That's always what I'm scared of too.
Always. Well, we're primed with the
especially in the
films.
bathroom.
Always the medicine mirror where you open it.
Open. It's just like
You're just like, oh my god.
I've mentioned it here before, but my wife leaves it fucking open, and I have to close it every time I close. I'm just like, oh.
You just gotta do this. You gotta be like, oh. So she sees them peering around corners or racing at incredible speeds. And once, while she was sleeping on the couch, she woke and felt strange until she noticed one was staring at her. And it really is that horror movie trope. It's just like, although I would hope in real life you don't get the jump scare music with it when she sees it. Imagine she's just looking and she sees just like, boom.
Somehow they accompany
There's
themselves.
just an orchestra there at all times. So she wondered why for 30 years it was just like good, nothing. And then randomly this Thanksgiving day, she feels something, a rocking chair, and then she sees, feels sadness from this translucent man outside. She does, and there's no answer
no
to
reason,
that.
there's no why, just the dam burst all of a sudden.
I guess, yeah, she doesn't know. I guess it's just like there's no, like, I feel like if you believe in like just randomness or just like things just happen, it's like if it was going to come back, then someday it was going to be that random day, and this happened to be then. A lot of people congregate.
Energy, yeah. Well, I was saying natural barriers erode over time, and then if you believe the idea that ghosts feed off energy, there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of energy on Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day.
We're eating, they're eating.
Well,
eating the turkey.
You're not
like,
incorrect. Yeah,
give me that bib. The guy outside, he's like, they ate all the mashed potatoes.
the cranberry sauce.
So the next story she submitted was the house with the mirror. Sticking with houses and
Sticking
mirrors.
with mirrors.
So around age 13, Grace had already lived in a ton of homes. She says 19. I don't know if it's 19 by 13, 19 homes by the age 13, but I'm thinking it's when she submitted this encounter.
That's just a tour.
I know, you're like staying in places for like a week.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just all really fucking haunted.
Yeah,
and
right.
They're just like,
or they're all following her.
Well, either way, that could be why they're leaving.
Yeah.
And they're just like, let's not hunt her here. This place is nice. It's a good view. We could stay here. But yeah, I'm assuming it's by the time she submitted this encounter, it's been 19 places. I'm hoping it's not 19 by 13. That's less than one a year.
Right. Yeah.
But either way, plenty of opportunities for hauntings. One particular house had an unsettling upstairs area from the moment that they moved in. Grace's bedroom sat at the top of the stairs, and while halfway up the staircase hung an enormous mirror permanently fixated on the wall. You just gotta smash it and be like, whoops.
Oh no. My bowling ball fell into it.
I'll take the 7 years of bad luck over seeing demons. Unless they combine.
Connected to them. Have you, I feel like I've mentioned this before. I heard this on Scared to Death, but like the idea that you shouldn't sleep in a room with a mirror, and that includes TVs because when they're off, they become mirrors.
Unless you leave it on.
Unless you leave it on, you crack the code.
I know a lot of people that sleep with the TV on.
Not on, but I have one in my room. It's a big.
Everyone has a TV in their room.
Yeah.
It's 2025.
And the idea kind of freaked me out when they brought it up, but I'm just like, I still gotta sleep. I'm not taking it out.
There's no reason for me to have a TV in that room. I might as well take it out because I can't remember. Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you the year that it was last on in that room. It's just there for the demons.
Hey, Tyler, how you doing?
When I was building our website, that's where I was.
Yeah, I remember
but
that.
Now it's just like, hey guys.
Collecting dust.
It's the one. You know what it is? It stays there until I bring it to the studio for football.
Oh,
It's that one. It
Okay.
just hangs out. I'm like,
you gotta check it every now and again.
So this mirror, this large mirror is fixated on the wall up the stairs. She didn't like looking at it. She didn't like it.
Yeah.
And when she would glance at it, she could see directly into the dark bathroom at the end of the hall. So she looks at it,
no.
and you see this bathroom over there, and it's just dark.
That's
bathroom.
doing double scary duty.
And if you open the medicine cabinet mirror, then it's just
A portal.
zoom.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say that. I'm just inferring. So one day, as she's walking up the stairs, she caught sight of a tall shadow figure standing in the mirror's reflection. Terrified, she looked away immediately, raced up the remaining steps, and locked herself in a room, trying to desperately convince herself that didn't just happen. No way. That was maybe my sister.
It was tall Letty.
It was
hanging out.
It was just birds in the walls, reflection of light. But she knew that it was there. She witnessed it. She did not imagine it. And her 6-year-old sister, whose room was near that bathroom, began having nightmares and refused to go upstairs alone.
That 6-year-old's a sacrifice.
Her nightmares and fear became so severe that the family created a makeshift bedroom for her downstairs. One afternoon, Grace accidentally fell asleep. I don't know what that means. Fell asleep in her sister's bed, and she awoke trapped in sleep paralysis.
Oh, no.
Unable to move, unable to speak. You're just frozen there. For those of you that don't know, if you haven't heard other episodes, you don't know about it outside of this. It's just like your body, there's a science behind it if you believe that, where it's just like so you don't get up and move or walk, whatever. Your brain's like, your body can't move, but you're just, the functioning aspect or the dreaming aspect is there. So you start seeing stuff. But whatever. She's frozen in this bed and she sees this dark shadow figure looming in the corner of the room. The entity had no eyes, but she could feel that it was staring directly at her. And when she finally broke free of the paralysis, she fled the room immediately. Now, that was Grace's only experience with sleep paralysis. She never had it before, and thankfully, as of submitting this, she hasn't had it since.
Yeah. Dark eyes is scary.
It had no eyes, but she felt like it was looking at her.
Yeah.
She feels not necessarily that it put her in sleep paralysis, but she feels like it took advantage of her sleep paralysis.
Like,
It was an opportune moment.
I see that you're awfully tired there. And then it's just like, although I think that's what sleep paralysis could be, is spirits doing that.
Taking advantage of it, not creating it.
Yes.
So 7 years later, during a dinner with her father, different house, a man who she describes as being as rational as he could be, given everything, he confessed something unexpected to her. He told Grace that he never mentioned this because he didn't want to freak her out. He didn't want to scare her, but he admitted that he too was terrified to go upstairs. And he said one time, well, he said it felt off. It just never felt right. But one time when he was going to put her sister to bed, he saw one of her sister's dolls scurry across the floor.
Ah! No!
And coming from her father, who she describes as skeptical, that confirmed everything to her. It's like, oh, okay. I wasn't crazy. The sleep paralysis didn't sway me.
That's the worst I've ever heard. Oh, it's terrible. Scurry across the floor.
It's just bad juju, man.
Oh my God.
Now, in the discussion, today's discussion, we'll go through the episodes and then we talk about it in the discussion. I want to talk about whether or not this is a father that was protecting them by not saying anything, or if maybe he should have said something. He must have not felt it was dangerous. I guess, or it's just the interest rate was excellent.
It's so good.
It's very nice.
When you keep moving like that, you just have to. I don't know. I don't have anything to say from there.
All right, so this third story sent to us from Grace is kind of about this cursed home, which is also the namesake.
It is.
The
I did
episode.
catch that, yeah.
So the family later moved into what Grace believed was a cursed house, and that's not an accidental qualifier adjective. It's not a haunted house. She thinks, I mean, it very well could be haunted. She thinks it's cursed. Now, she doesn't go into details like who cursed it.
Oh,
it's just the feeling that she got based on everything that happens here.
But the house with the family annihilator wasn't cursed?
No, that was haunted.
It was just haunted.
That was just haunted.
Okay.
So Grace says that this house very much resembled a stereotypical horror movie setting, like large brick home surrounded by woods and a large gate for entry.
Oh, okay.
So like an old or scary house, you know what I mean?
because when you see, I think of scary movie, I think of the movie.
Scream? Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, it's animated.
Courage, Cowardly Dog?
No, it's a movie. House.
Monster House.
Monster House. Yeah, that's what I think.
It's not. This isn't suburban. I don't think.
Okay.
If it has a gate,
no, this is
like a big gate to get inside. It makes me think of like a Rose Red or like the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's a mansion.
I don't think it's a mansion. I think it's just old. So when she says when they inquired about the previous owners from a neighbor, the woman was very matter of fact and was like, "Oh yeah, they moved out because it was haunted."
Okay,
and they're like, "You mean cursed?" And she's like, "No, I said haunted, but we'll still call it cursed." And apparently at that point, it was too late for them to it was signed. It was done. They were like they asked her neighbor. It's not like the homeowners.
Souls were exchanged for the home. I gotcha.
And I feel like if it's bad news if your neighbors know your house is haunted.
Yeah.
If your neighbors know that your house is haunted, and that's why you left,
they hear the screams at night.
Yeah, like, please don't call 911. We're just being lifted off our beds and thrown against the wall. It doesn't hurt that bad. We got some cushion installed, and if you heard a dog barking, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. If you can't keep an animal alive around, sorry about that too.
So they're probably like, oh my God, here we go again. But I mean, it's just one of 19. So just chalk it. It's just like that
just
little
tally mark.
Yep. So after moving into this house, a series of disturbing events followed. The home was constantly invaded by black snakes, large black snakes that only seemed to target Grace's mother. They appeared in the shower, on the side of her bed, and in her personal spaces. Given her mother's intense fear of snakes, it felt deliberate.
Yeah.
And a callback from earlier in the story, the grandmother, or the great-grandmother. The mother would often wake up to the sensation of something crawling on her face. One night, she turned on the light to discover not a snake, but a brown recluse on her skin. And for those who are unaware, brown recluses are not aggressive at all. They're not aggressive at all, but they are venomous and they can cause tissue damage.
The old fiddleback spider, if you will.
They're not trying to get you, but if you do get bit, it's bad. It's like not Black Widow bad, but it's bad.
Did I ever tell you in college? I feel like I did tell you this story. I woke up one night because I thought I got bitten by like a spider, and in my mind, I was like, "It's a brown recluse. I'm gonna die." And like I sat there for like 20 minutes. I was like, "If I die in these 20 minutes, it's a brown recluse. And if I don't, it was probably just a little spider."
And you didn't die.
I didn't die, so it probably wasn't brown recluse.
Spoiler alert: my co-host is a ghost. Also, her mom did not get bit. She was never bit by anything, the snakes, the spiders. But the incidents took a severe toll on her mental health, which, I mean, for people like homeowners, or even like if you have an apartment, if you have like even a bug thing, right? Like if you have a lot of ants, it sucks. It takes a mental toll. You start expecting them. Yeah. You just like, it's like when you have a carpet and you just see movement and you're like, here we go. And you're like looking for it. But snakes is like a whole other level.
I don't even know.
Snakes in your house?
That's some Australian shit right there.
Apparently, wildlife also became like strangely common. Like horses. Horses would appear in their front yard despite the tall metal fences and gate, and then it would just vanish without explanation.
Oh, shit, that's a ghost horse.
No, trot, just like horse, and then it's gone. Their chickens would inexplicably throw themselves into bonfires as if being pushed by an unseen force.
Roast chicken.
Or there's all the chickens from Moana. Boat snack.
It's not funny, but it's a little funny.
One day, Grace's sister went missing for hours, and when she finally returned, she insisted that she'd been playing right beside the house with another girl, a child that they couldn't identify and they never saw again.
That's a fairy.
But not everyone in the house escaped without injury. Grace's father suffered a freak accident while working on their fence. He split his head open and had no memory of how it happened.
Oh my God.
The property just felt dark to Grace. Like there was no better way to put it. Like I think she had experienced so many haunted houses. Now I think with my very, very limited experience, I think you could just consider that like the level of haunting was different here. But I think she was so experienced and had so many paranormal encounters that for her, it was like, this isn't haunting. Like this is cursed. Like there's something so bad here, violent. Like when we talk about intention, like, like Dogman isn't going to like, I can't wait to scare them. It's like,
it's
I'm
just
hungry.
more of an animal. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in her mind, the snakes and the spider were sent to terrify. Like it was an intentional, I'm going to torment you. Yeah. I'm going to freak you out. I'm going to scare you.
This house feels like, okay, so like if a normal haunted house is like your level of active, like you, Tyler, level of active. Okay. Like this house is like your friend Tyler level of active. Like this house is getting up at 5 a.m, going for a jog.
Oh, Tyler, right.
Yeah, going for a jog kind of active. Like working out after kind
CrossFit,
of active.
All day,
very
day.
Active house.
Yeah, it's not just doing upper and lower body splits 4 days a week.
That was a long metaphor for maybe not a good summary.
So you're calling Tyler cursed is what I'm hearing.
He is cursed with the gift of fitness.
Okay, the gift. Cursed with the gift of fitness. We should be so lucky to not have said curse. So Grace developed depression for the first time in her life when she walked the grounds to clear her mind, which walking is good for your mental health, I will say. The woods seemed to amplify these negative thoughts. So it was like the whole property. Like it was a thing. Yeah. And eventually her mom broke down and she just said over and over, it's the house. It's the house. It's the land. It doesn't want us to be here. We need to leave. And shortly after that breakdown, they left.
They broke down and left.
Yep. They're like, all right, not worth it.
Yeah.
On to number, 16, 15?
25.
Let's keep it going. So Grace's last submission as part of her story is called Sarah, and you'll find out why. So when Grace was 18, she and her boyfriend were spending the night at her house while the parents were away. As they sat talking in the upstairs bedroom, Grace heard high-pitched giggling like that of a little girl.
Oh, well, you know what, though? That's not a little girl. That's danger.
And so that immediately triggered all of the warning signs in Grace's head.
Yeah, she knows.
First of all, because there was no one else. There was no one there to be the giggling. Like she knows it's her house. There's no little girl. So she initially dismissed it, not wanting to alarm her skeptical boyfriend. Because again, like Grace has had all these encounters, all this stuff. So for her, it was like probably like disarming, but also, well, I shouldn't say disarming. It was alarming, but also like, okay, like we've done snakes.
It's still another day.
I've seen horses appear and disappear.
Yeah.
But for her boyfriend, she doesn't want to be like, oh, did you hear that? Like, because he might be like, oh my God, I gotta go, or I'm freaking out. But while contemplating that, her boyfriend went silent and turned and asked, did you hear that? Did you hear that laughing? In her mind, her stomach twisted and she's like, okay, yep, that confirms it. Like it wasn't like that small chance that I made it up. Like, no, it's real. He heard it too. So eventually the giggling stopped and they decided to watch a movie in the basement, which she said was a space that always freaked her out. So they went from the upstairs bedroom to the basement to watch a movie. Hopefully it was comedy. I don't know.
Pourquoi, Tyler?
I don't know. So her boyfriend, while they're watching the movie, walked to the bathroom near a countertop when suddenly he sprinted back to the couch at full speed. And Grace was like, what is wrong? And he was completely freaked out and pale. And he said, something over there said, hi, how are you?
Oh.
And he described it as a young girl's voice similar to the giggling that they heard upstairs. And this experience completely rocked him. Like he had been very skeptical of the paranormal and typically tried to find rational explanations for anything Grace had mentioned, kind of similar to her dad in a way, but probably even more skeptical. Because, I mean, by this point, the dad just has so many experiences. They left a house because of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the boyfriend...
He's a new, fresh skeptical.
He's newbie, new blood. So they ended up naming the ghost Sarah. And later, Grace's father mentioned seeing glimpses of a little girl running across the basement floor when he worked in his office.
No.
The family moved again, and Sarah was never encountered again.
Good.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Grace was not trusting of
Sarah.
I
don't blame her.
But to name her is to give her a certain level of power.
Absolutely.
So I don't think they were afraid of her.
I think they should have been more scared.
Well, that's your bias. Because nothing happened. Nothing bad happened here.
Before they moved.
I'm going to do an episode where it's like, what happens Oh, this sounds terrible. This sounds like the most depressing episode we could ever do. I don't even want to say it.
Oh, I want to know.
Like, what happens to little girls when they die?
Oh.
Because you don't believe that you think they just poof or something. I don't know. They all go to heaven? Is that?
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, only little girls aren't like you can have a little boy ghost, and Charlie's like, oh, interesting. You can have an old man ghost, a woman ghost, a man ghost. Yeah. But apparently, little girls just go somewhere else because they're not allowed to be here.
I don't know. Just, you know what? It's just the most likely guise of a demon. That's what it is.
It's the most innocent.
Yes. And they do little boys too, but like little girl is just so disarming.
Except for you.
Except for me, because I know the tricks.
So that is Davy's story. Those are Grace's stories. Let's talk about them in the discussion. All right, Charlie?
Davy's story.
We got Davy. So he's driving. They're going to get a car. He sees a white speck.
2.5 hours away.
2 hours. Sees a white speck, turns into 5, completely vanishes. And then he's in the car at night. Bushes are moving, doesn't see anything. Door rattles.
Yeah.
Then sees the bushes again. And you're trying to connect dots.
So what are the odds that he sees this potential UFO encounter and then he encounters something trying to get to him?
What are the odds?
Yeah.
100% to me. Because I think that's what happened.
You don't think there's something else? You think they're unconnected?
Let me tell you this. This is why I think they're unconnected. I think the sensation that they saw him and they duplicated as reinforcements, I think that was in his head.
Okay.
I think that it was, I mean, even if it was aliens, I'm not even saying it was aliens, but if it was aliens, I don't think they were aware that this boy in this car was seeing them. I think that happened. And then I think there's also a possibility that he was psyched out and freaked out and he made something more out of the second encounter than what maybe was really there.
To me, it sounds like they noticed they were seen by somebody. They followed him and they landed. And it is a little team of gray men coming to get him. That's what I think. Maybe that's a little out there. I'll admit that. It's potentially a little far-fetched, but it's really scary.
Okay. I think if that feeds into our desire for through lines and story connections.
It sounds very much
No, listen,
like
I can't say you're wrong.
No, you can't.
I can't say you're wrong. I'm just saying I think it's more likely that one of them wasn't even paranormal.
Yeah.
And he was, I think, like, probably the most rational thing for me as someone who believes in aliens is that he did see some type of UFO, maybe not even alien technology, government, whatever. He sees something UFO, is freaked out. I mean, he was almost panic level attack. You joked about it. Like, don't have a panic attack. And then he's in the dark by himself at 12 years old and sees a bush move. And
so what do you think was trying to get in the car?
I don't know.
What's got the hands to wrap it around?
I don't know. I'm not trying to say he imagined that. I think there's a chance he was just very, very psyched out. I don't
trust them foothills in eastern Kentucky. Southeastern Kentucky.
There certainly could have been something out there.
Yeah. I don't think he saw an alien and a cryptid in one day.
Maybe it was a setup where like the family was like, all right, well, we distract them looking at this car, you steal their car. And they didn't even expect a son to be in the back seat.
Actually, that's
actually really terrifying.
Yeah.
And then when like they sent him a text like abort, someone's in there, and that's why they left. Or it's like a Bigfoot humanoid cryptid. Like,
I think you definitely see that though. Or it's a fairy.
I think it's more likely a fairy than the aliens he saw in the sky.
Are you for real?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think these are connected. Like, okay. If the UFO was like less than a football distance away, you know what I mean? Like if I was more able to buy into the idea that these aliens truly knew this one car on this one interstate, was aware of them, then I'd be like, okay, they came back because I believe they have the power to find you. I'm thinking this thing is miles away. There's all these cars on the interstate.
Yeah.
It's so like main character.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, that boy can see us.
I mean, truthfully, if you've ever been in an airplane, looked down, you would know how ridiculous that idea is.
Yeah. Unless they're trying to abduct the family to protect them from getting a Kia or a Hyundai. I think it's, and it's not, I don't mean to blow past how crazy the idea is that he could have had 2 different paranormal encounters in the same trip. That's why My body's telling me he was just freaked out during the second one. But the door handle is physical, and the knocking
that is very creepy.
is probably just somebody trying to steal their car, and they're like, "Oh no!" Like, who would drive 2 hours to look at this car? Like,
that is actually very scary.
They don't know anyone in this town. We can.
Yeah, that's actually awful.
All right, so now Grace's story.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's the brown room.
Yeah.
There, and then the chair moving. There's the mirrors with the shadow figures, the tall figure, the snakes, the sleep paralysis, the father's admission of the thing scurrying.
Oh, that's terrible.
The cursed home with the snakes and the spiders, the ghost child, Sarah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 19 homes.
And also
that's scary. That's exhausting.
Yeah, no. The RIA.
RA? Resident assistant?
Yeah. No, just the moving fees alone.
Oh, what?
I don't know. IRS taxes.
No, what is? I feel like you were thinking U-Haul. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, U-Haul.
They don't even have a car. They just have a U-Haul.
Yeah,
we just drive a 30-foot U-Haul everywhere.
Yeah, they're just going on tour, man. But okay, I really do think her sister was abducted, went to the fairy realm, and came back.
Oh, in the cursed house where she was playing with the girl.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think it was more likely that she just saw a ghost girl.
And what happened to her then?
The ghost girl disappeared.
I thought they couldn't find the sister either.
She was missing, but I don't think they were like. I don't think they had the SWAT team. And
she was missing.
I don't think they meant like search party missing. I think they meant like, where's so and so? I don't know.
Yeah, for a couple hours.
Yeah,
in the fairy world.
No, I don't think so. I think the woods, because she said the woods. There were woods there.
Yeah, there were woods there. Yeah, with circles.
She didn't say anything about circles.
Anyway, do you want to talk about the house? Which house do you want to talk about first?
I mean, we can talk about it collectively.
Okay.
Anything that stood out to you. We don't have to do every story.
Grace's family.
Oh, wait. Davey, on the believability scale.
Oh.
Our scale from believable to viable to skeptical and believable.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and I would say, for the sake of this story, believable means that day something strange happened. Paranormal. Something paranormal happened that day.
Okay.
So you have two chances. I mean, for you, it's one big one, maybe, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't know. I'm kind of cool on the idea. I do think something from the foothills is trying to get him. I think something paranormal happened. I go believable.
I do too. I mean, there's two chances. I think this white speck, I have no idea what could be, and I don't know what could grab the door handle. And I don't want to just be like, he was probably so freaked out he imagined the whole thing. Or he accidentally put his AirPods in and clicked on the door handle shaking playlist.
Yeah, I don't have that channel.
I don't either. I'm probably on iHeart. But yeah, I go believable just because there's one of those two experiences, I think something strange happened.
Yeah.
And we can't overlook how it made him feel.
That's true.
When you see something in the sky like that and it gets you a feeling, I think it's your body being like, something's whack here. But anyway, back to Grace's story.
So Grace's family is not just haunted. They're very haunted. They are extremely haunted. I hate the idea that one of the dolls moved and he saw it and he said nothing.
He just went to sleep every night like, please, don't cover my mouth. Just don't.
Oh, man.
Like with a story that's got shadow figures with eyes, no eyes, with shadow figures peering and running through mirrors, snakes, spiders, ghost horse.
Dad, why are all my dolls in a bonfire?
The doll scurrying is somehow one of the scariest details of this whole thing.
Scurrying is such a word for it.
Makes it feel just like,
yeah.
It just doesn't like limp, but the legs are, I don't know. It's
not like running, it's scurrying.
Somehow that detail just transcends the story.
I agree.
Even though like there's so many shadow figures, we can still talk about this. I go believable. I think you can't tell me one of these 19 places is not haunted.
Now, out of odds alone.
It is interesting how they keep ending up at haunted places. But then again, we got like 4 stories out of 19 houses.
Yeah.
So
well, these could be the best stories. I do think that this family is just insanely sensitive, very haunted. And like, I think we've talked about this before. If you want to be heard, you go by the people that can hear you. And these people can hear or see.
They got big old ears.
That's right. And they're sensitive. And I think they're all pretty sensitive. Even the dad who doesn't like want to be.
Maybe he can't see things that don't manifest physically.
Yeah.
So like maybe he can't see the shadow figures. He just gets the feeling. But when the doll moved, he sees the physical doll. But he maybe doesn't see shadow figures and stuff.
I don't know what's creepier. the creepiest thing? That big mirror with the thing standing in it.
It was also like the direction. The mirror was facing the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so you're looking in this.
It's a portal, man. We talked about it before, but like portals happen when mirrors are left to mirror. That's not what I was going to say. Like when mirrors face each other.
Well, okay, I was joking about the bathroom mirror. She didn't say it was facing anything.
No, but the way this mirror is described, it feels like it's a big opening, just letting in something. There was a mirror in front of my base, my dad's house. I never liked that mirror very much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Where is it at? Oh, in front of your...
When you came in through the garage, it was like right behind the door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never liked that mirror very much. For the same reason. It felt like it was just like...
You never know what you're going to see.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if it's so exposed feeling.
Yeah. I of course, I don't think I said it, but I go believable as well. I believe everybody in this family is haunted.
So that is our episode, The Cursed House of Snakes. I did originally have a running title that had Shadow and Mirror, but then I looked and we have the demonic shadow in the mirror, and I'm like, we can't do it. So thank you so much to Grace. Thank you so much to Davey for submitting your stories. If you have a personal paranormal encounter that you would like told on Believing the Bizarre, go to our website, believingthebizarre.com. In the main navigation, there is Submit Your Experience. There's a form there. Feel free to write your story elsewhere and then paste it in there just so you're not feeling the confines of the form. But we love getting them. These are some of our favorite stories. We love telling your stories, and there's just that personal touch with listener submissions that you can't beat. And we really appreciate anyone taking the time to submit it to us.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and ask you again. I've asked you before. I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to keep asking you. If you've not yet had time or you've not thought of it, go please leave a 5-star review on Apple and say something if you can. And if you go on Spotify, please leave a 5-star. And you can comment on every episode, including this one. I think it's creepy as fuck. The clown scurried. The doll was scurrying in the room.
Yeah, let us know what you thought about the doll scurrying in the room and ghost horses. Hashtag ghost horse. Speaking of Spotify comments, I did pull a few from our last episode, which was the house that belonged to him.
Yeah.
And how do I remember that? Because the first comment we got was from Peace Plum Pear that said the house that belonged to him sounds like a New York Times best-selling thriller.
It's a good comment.
Anthony said, I love the fact that you worked Dan Scott into an episode. Ha, great episode, guys. Shout out all of the One Tree Hill listeners out there.
Is that what that is?
One Tree Hill,
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
100%. And Abby said, I haven't finished the episode yet, but I had to post my immediate comment to the ghost encounter. The gurgle voice was the grudge, the death rattle. She makes that sound in the movie, but it's also a legitimate sound that people tend to make while on their deathbed. Nope. Danny Phantom needs to get the fuck out the house.
Yeah, that was scary. Yeah, that was very scary.
And again, if you like the content, you want a little bit more content, you want to fill your drives to work, your walkings of your dog, the cleaning of your dishes, the cooking of your meals, there's so much content over there on Patreon. There's quizzes, there's segments. We watch horror movies together. You probably shouldn't do that while walking your dog. There's so much stuff over on Patreon. Go check it out. We cleaned up some of the listings so it's more clear on what we offer. And you'll get new content every Wednesday and Friday until either we die or we quit the podcast.
Pretty consistently in there, yeah.
But thank you, everybody, so much for listening and or watching. We appreciate it. As always, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Charlie.
And catch us next week on Believing the Bizarre.
A podcast as bizarre as you are.